traveling agronomist here, getting out of the standard range that we've been looking at in Texas as the grain starts maturing in other regions. Today we're in Arkansas. Tomorrow we'll be in Tennessee, and then going into the Boot Hill, Missouri, looking at some plots during this kind of loop that we're running. And what I want to look at today is how some of these products we've seen in Texas, South Texas, and Central Texas, how they're adapting to different geographies, as well as how the yield potential has changed within the different geographies that we are supporting with products. As we look at some of the products here, we look at the 3189 product that we have, tighter head, a little bit on the later end of the maturity range, strong sugarcane aphid tolerance. But one of the things we notice in the Arkansas environment so far this year is a much taller plant than what we would see typically even in our high-yielding Texas environments. G1153 that we're introducing, this is another aphid-tolerant hybrid that's predominantly meant for the Kansas market and some of the tougher dryland environments around the U.S. Strong performance here. One of the things that we are seeing is that this hybrid right here has kind of maintained its height despite being in a different environment, while the 3189 got a little taller. So those are things that as you look for a product, you just have to kind of fine tune and look at the overall data for different regions. We've come across a couple things that jump out at me that we've been experiencing in this particular field. If we look right here on this leaf, we see, I call it a shotgun blast, but it's a series of holes in a linear fashion. And I actually had a call about this particular damage coming out of Kansas. And what that is some kind of lepidopteran pest. It gets down in the whorl while it's still in the vegetative state. And all it takes is one bite and it makes 3 or 4 holes in it. You typically will not see that be an economic damage, but it is something to watch. Being that as the pest is in the whorl, deep in there, it's very hard to actually get the pesticide in there to control them. So that's just something we're seeing out here in this particular field. But now that we're in a reproductive stage, it's no longer a major concern for us. So we'll just be watching for headworms and stink bugs and things that are attacking the grain at this point. But here we are seeing tremendous aphid pressure. And what that is telling us is we definitely need to be watching for aphids throughout the field. So with the aphids designation, the sugarcane aphid tolerance, it allows us that acres probably 5 years ago that have kind of dropped off for sorghum but are still good options for sorghum despite that issue can select a tolerant hybrid and become much more profitable for the grower. So that's the first thing you should be looking at. So guys, we're wrapping up here in, I believe it's Royer, Arkansas. We're going to be moving up the Mississippi River, going to see a couple other plots and see what we can find.